Got mail.
So we're back with less Kevin, more tech from
utechit.com.
Good. So last we were having dinner at one of our favorite restaurants in Brighton Bar and Grill.
Yep.
And we were enjoying the company of Elena there and all the good
Fantastic
food that was going on. We're having a great dinner, right?
Right.
Little wine with dinner and then a little bourbon afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're sitting there and the commotion comes up, right?
Good gravy.
Wasn't it? It was bizarre, wasn't it?
That's I've never seen anything like it in the town of Brighton here.
Yeah, the scuffle like that. And before the authorities could get there, we, being good guys, right? We jumped up and walked over and
had to do our civic duty.
See what we could do and help out. And come to find out, lo and behold, Brighton, Michigan.
Right.
Who do we see there causing this problem?
Well, at first, it was hard to tell because of the crowd, right?
Right.
But then I saw the hat. Then you saw the hat.
And we knew it could only be one guy, right?
There's only one guy with the hat.
Yes. And now this next part, what was causing the commotion,
Right.
Anybody that knows this gentleman knows that the problem was he wasn't paying his bill.
Right. So,
and so we had to step in and pay his bill, right? Because anybody that knows Andy knows he doesn't travel with a wallet, right?
Right.
And if he does have a wallet, it's those short arms, right?
Yeah. It was,
he just can't get there,
And the commotion was incredible.
And he says he's a Turpin fan, but I always thought he was a Florida Gator, with those short arms.
I see. Yep.
So, let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
So we saved the night, right? We called Brighton PD, said, "Hey, slow down.
Yep.
No need for lights and sirens. We got this covered. We'll cover Andy's dinner, right?"
Yeah. And in exchange,
what did we make him do?
he's coming here to be interviewed on our podcast.
Good fortune all the way around.
Phenomenal. So, introduce our guest.
Andy Slawetsky from Industry Analyst.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It is very nice to be here. They tried to close my tab off. What can I tell you? Things get a little crazy sometimes. But it is great to be here in Brighton, and we do have a Brighton back home, Brighton, New York, and I live very close to that actually. So I left. I kind of went in a vortex, woke up, left Brighton, and I'm in Brighton now. So and the weather sucks here too. So yeah.
What was fun is watching him try to explain to the bartender that 8% was a big tip in his mind.
It's all relative. So what's happened? It's great to see you guys here. You're both wearing the awesome hats.
Yep.
The What's Happening hats. We are here doing an on the scene interview, which is new for us. I haven't done this before, so this is a lot of fun. Woke up bright and early and got on a plane and got to come to Detroit. Who could pass up a chance to do something like that, right?
Hey, Andy,
So no one ever.
The only thing better is if it was in January. Now, that would be...
Well, that would be out of the frying pan into the fire, but fortunately you have this this nice bourbon here for me to warm up with at 9:30 in the morning. So, that is a perk. That definitely influenced my me coming here. I'll travel for that. So... but again, frankly, in sincerity, thank you very much for having me. This is great, and I wanted to, come to Detroit and find out about you guys. What's happening with UTech? What are you guys doing, Kevin and Les? What are you guys doing with the company and these podcasts and what's happening in Michigan? So why don't Les? Why don't you look like you're raring to start? Why don't you tell us what's happening with UTech out here in Detroit?
Well, Kevin, if you don't mind, I'll start with just this little vignette, where we're at. Kevin's company, UTech, has been in this marketplace since 75, had a change of ownership, when Kevin acquired it. But the company that he purchased, the foundation was typewriter repair. And in the 70s, that was, right? And Kevin will hopefully share a little bit of story about when he, acquired UTech and the shock. But what's happened, in my observation, I've known Kevin over 20 years, is, he's got a forward-thinking mind, right? And he's been able to evolve the technology that's within UTech to match the marketplace. So when I think about what we're doing here right now this morning, in the 90s, we remember the B2C. Remember that? The whole movement from monochrome to business color. and people were using the business color devices to generate PowerPoints to go out and sell and market their companies. And so we were able to sell lots of B2C, the digital evolution in the marketplace. All that's happening here right now with UTech is we're doing the same thing. We're now allowing our customers, right, to go out and market, promote, develop their business through this medium. The principle's still the same, right? We're meeting with our clients, we're finding out their needs, helping them grow their revenue, and utilizing the technology.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
it is.
cool.
It is.
So, Kevin, why don't you tell me a little bit, take a step back and just fill us in on who is UTech and how did you get involved with them and what do they do here in this community?
Well, UTech is a little hidden gem down in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back from my days. I peddled copiers in Detroit. We were a Sharp dealer. Then we got bought by Danka. And as we were reminiscing earlier about the Icon and the Danka and the great companies like that. But we lost our touch, right? We loved that independent dealer. Danka bought us. Then we merged with Kodak. We talked about, and then they brought in all the Xerox guys to run it. So you had the Wild Wild West meet the corporate structure of Kodak, and then you brought in Xerox to run it, and it was just a nightmare. So I left, got an equipment leasing business, and realized I had limited skills, so I better find my way back to the copier side. So from there, no, actually, kids were getting older. You had to have wanted to be at home. We were tired of traveling, and DL was a great time. But this opportunity came up. We bought university office equipment. And I always cringed at the name, but it was our father started those companies, right? The office equipment and business machines. So we went to University Office Technologies and to better reflect what we were doing, and the technologies became cumbersome on that email thing to fill out your stuff. So we shortened it up to UTech IT to better reflect what we're doing, and we go by the name UTech.
And when did you start? When did you acquire this?
In 08,
08.
So and we put everything on the line, kids' education, right? You took your,
they'll figure it out.
Yeah,
They're
empty your
young.
401k.
They can bounce back.
Yeah, the housing crisis. I told my wife, I said, last thing it needs another house, so we're safe. There's no debtor's prison, right? So we'll make it through this. But it was a great opportunity. It was a good time to get into it, and I it's funny, we look at what we've gone through since we've been there. We've had the housing crisis, right? You had the recession that nobody thought we'd ever see like that in 08, and that lasted for a while. We've had this pandemic, but I think it's never been a better time to be in our business, right?
Well, I would say, you've got all these customers now that that you've always supported, and now they're trying to figure out new ways to run their businesses, right, with the remote working and everyone going home. So I would imagine it's a huge opportunity for someone who you sell collaboration tools. You sell. Tell me what do you guys market? So office equipment, printers, copiers, scanners, collaboration displays. What
we like to say we own the office. So if it's got a power cord or blinking light, that's us.
That's you.
And that's us. So we sell or support or service it in some form or fashion. So it's the Sharp products with the collaboration boards we talked about. We Sharp MFPs that are state of the art and frankly a leader. And we've had. Fortunately, I think everybody realized now is a great time to be a Sharp dealer because we've had good fortune or great vision by Mike Maruzik's standards that we're in a position we are with our inventory. Everybody's struggling, but Sharp seems to weather that the best right now.
Well, Sharp is owned by the biggest electronics manufacturer in the world, right? So that never hurts either to have just the portfolio and the backing, the stability behind them. So very very cool. As far as the technology that you're selling and some of the companies you're representing. What's it like out there now selling? You've had a year and a half, 2 years to kind of adjust to this remote, we're not remote, we're full remote, we're coming back from remote. You've got customers who are in flux. How is it for you guys to sell to these companies?
So one of the things that we're finding is that our portfolio is, we broadened the portfolio and it's resonating. So a couple of the areas that are resonating, we've partnered with some local vendors for fiber, right? Because now organizations are, in this distributed workforce. So now they're pushing video. They need more bandwidth, right? So we're able to push fiber, and for organizations in our industry, that supplants the drop in annuity that you had from clicks, due to COVID. So you get the recurring revenue, right?
Right.
So that kind of, the clicks like this with COVID, this kind of balances it out, the annuity stream. We've also really took a deep dive into the cyber offering, and we've created 2 cyber stacks. All right, we've created we got one technology stack that's really geared towards the businesses of 50, 100, 25, basically at 100 and below. All right, these are organizations that want to be protected in this environment. They want to have the technology, but there's a shortage of labor in IT right now. So some of these people, they're demanding $75,000 a year, $100,000. In these small businesses, they can't afford it.
Well, so a lot of these small businesses, myself included, we don't even have IT departments, right?
Yeah.
So is this a kind of offering that might help somebody who does not have their own full-time on-staff person? Is this a call, break, fix? Is this, you guys are just going to fully support me and I don't need somebody? Is that how that works?
So, Andy, how it works is this. The answer is yes to what you said. All right. And what I mean by that is we believe, and we're demonstrating it successfully in the marketplace, that an organization will pay a little bit more, right, to have a full service IT partner. Now, they'll pay a little bit more than a break fix individual, but a whole lot less than hiring their own individual.
Sure.
And so they're paying less than hiring their own individual, but they're getting a full team of support, and they're getting the break fix model along with it.
So my 50-person company, you will get me help desk, you'll get me someone coming in the door to fix this stuff, you'll get me a salesperson to come in and help me plan and sort of storyboard what I'm going to do going forward as far as mapping out. My people are all over the place. I don't know how to support them. So all of that.
Yep. So we do that through, ironically enough, 1990s copier process, right, which is the QBR, quarterly business review. So we're able to sit down on a quarterly basis and begin to map out 2 years, 3 years, so that these businesses don't hit a surprise. Because right now it's a surprise. Windows 11's coming out. I go, God, I got to upgrade, get all my new laptops. It's a surprise to them.
Yeah.
But if you sit down with somebody and focus to their business, what do you guys need, where you want to go? Because that's different for everybody. Some people want to grow revenue, some people want to slide, some people are looking for an exit. So we want to sit down quarterly to roadmap, the technology piece of the business so that it matches up with the business requirements.
It's a pretty easy pitch, right? We go in and say, look, you're going to spend the money on cybersecurity, or you're going to spend the money on your hardware with your IT some way. So there's 2 ways of doing that. 1, we can map that out, we can plan and budget for it, and you can do it on your time frame. Or 2, somebody's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, you've just been ransomware, we get all your data.
Yeah.
We'd like this big check, and oh, by the way, you're going to start buying new equipment then. You're going to have all kinds of issues, but you're going to do it on their schedule, not yours. So we try to manage it where we can do it with a consultative approach, budget, planned out, and have a strategy to go forward with our customers.
What's the, let me ask you this about the security situation now that everyone's home, and since you're kind of moving into that part of the conversation anyway, with what's gone down in the last 18 months, two years, everyone working from home, people all over the place. Now you're not under the roof of that IT person if they're there. And now even if you don't have an IT person, the support structure is now trying to support people that are all over the place. And are we more vulnerable now where people are working in this fashion, or are they still protected the way they were when they were all working in the office? And is there something that you guys help them monitor this?
You want to cover that?
Set this up.
You want to take it? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take. So let's say you go down to your Best Buy, right?
Yep.
And you want to buy your router, or,
Yep.
or whatever.
Which everyone's doing right now, right? Everyone's setting up those home offices.
Right. So is Best Buy in business to sell those products, right?
Yeah.
So what they want to do is they want to make it for you easy for you to acquire it, implement it, and get running. So by virtue of making it easy for a consumer to work within their house, it opens up flaws from a security perspective. All right, so now you're in home where you might have your kid with the Xbox, right?
Yep.
And you got your other kid that a flare up happens, so now they're not going to school, they're staying at school. Sometimes they're sharing laptops, and it's all built around these types of products that are consumer grade. So harken back to our industry, right?
Yep.
The core industry, the printer that you see at at Office Max doesn't have the same type of abilities and strength that an Office MFP does.
Right.
Same kind of concept. The principle is the same. So you have consumer grade. So back a few minutes earlier, I was talking about our strategy. If you're an employee of a company who's underneath UTech IT, all right, and we're managing you, and you're working at home, you're still a employee who we're managing.
Yeah.
So we will take care of you in that area. And that's part of our service, concierge, if you will.
Right.
So, you asked, what are we seeing out in the marketplace?
Yeah.
This is what we're seeing. And
so customers are more vulnerable now than ever, is what it's sounding like. So everybody goes home, everybody goes to Best Buy and buys that printer, buys that copier, just something
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com is right to your door. Yeah. Most of these products have security capabilities, but here's where the problem is. My understanding is, most people don't know to set these things up. If they do, they don't, obviously have the admin capabilities to set them up for my company's network. And so now, your computer sits out there, the kid goes out and plays a video game on it. Next thing you know, there's a virus on the computer. It wasn't set up properly, and they go back to log into your office. And so that's a problem, right? So you guys are helping customers address this.
Exactly.
The customers that are convinced that off-the-shelf router with admin as a password and password, and that Comcast is protecting them as they drive up down the street, and if they do change it to their phone number or street address, that they're safe. We can't help those folks. But if other people are into the security, then that's really our basis for
and the key is you don't really care. I mean, not that you don't care, but the idea is we're not here to tell people what to do in their homes, but we're here to tell you if your people are in your homes, they need to be protected, right? And you need to take some steps to ensure that they don't bring anything back in that could lead to ransomware, like you alluded to earlier, which is. These are SMBs and they're just as vulnerable as anybody. But when you look at the size of some of these massive companies that got taken down, if they're gonna get hit by it, everybody can get hit by it, right? So
Andy,
it's not if, it's when, right? And it's going to happen, and our job is to consult with them and educate them, and then let them make their decision. Some people are comfortable with that risk, others aren't.
It's true. And the ones that aren't comfortable with, they'll tell you. And the ones that are comfortable with the risk, they'll tell you too.
Yeah. Yeah, all you need is one customer who didn't make the right decision. He could be an advocate for everybody. I would have heard, that ransomware email that you get is that'll get your pulse going.
Andy, we'll talk to people right out in the marketplace, and they'll say, "Hey, you know what? If this thing happens, I'm just going to go bank. I'll just restart." And is that an optimal solution? No, but
not for me.
but you know what? When it's just the example of the frustration level that's out in the marketplace, and it's just people that what do I do?
Yeah,
we have those customers called Toshiba.
Call anybody, not you though, right? So, well, this is great. I appreciate you guys having me on and or having you on my show. I don't know whose show this is right now, but your the facility is a lot nicer than I'm used to recording these in. So I appreciate you guys spending some time with me this morning. Any shout outs, any last things you guys want to wind up with?
I'd like to ask him, what are you seeing? I mean, you're a celebrity in the industry, right?
I get around
rock
a little
star.
bit.
You're a rock star. What are you seeing?
What am I seeing? Oh, geez, what a loaded question. I'm seeing dealers coming off of a surprisingly good year, resellers, and it was mostly obviously because of a lot of the help from the government, the PPE loans, and the billing systems that many of the resellers have with the monthly minimums really help people. Going forward, you wonder, are customers going to want to look at different ways to be billed? Maybe they were happy to support our industry in the past, but going forward, maybe they'll want to be billed a little bit differently. I'm seeing a lot of dealers kind of gravitate towards new areas. That's the diversification was something that was already going on, and it's sort of exacerbated it. Customers are there's a lot more A4 being sold now, the smaller desktops, which is understandable because you guys are supplying people as they go home. So your focus has changed a little bit, maybe not changed, but shifted a little from those larger machines to the smaller ones. Although the larger ones are starting to come back. We had that real lull last year where everyone was home, and now there's a good mix of people who are back, and some want to be back, some don't want to, but the bottom line is they are coming back at some level or another, and so there's just a lot of a lot of opportunity for placing different types of product than we had, the years leading up to right now. The biggest issue for us, and not just us, but the world right now is just inventory, right? I can't buy a stove without waiting 6 months. So if you guys have inventory on your shelf, that's obviously a big help. But it's a challenge for everybody. The docks, the boats are sitting off of California, just waiting and waiting and waiting. And somebody's machines are sitting on there. Somebody's brand new scanner is sitting on that, and it's frustrating. But we as an industry, we kind of have to weather through this just the way we're doing it in other parts of our lives. So it's amazing to watch the entrepreneurship and just. We didn't lose very many dealers last year. The ones we lost were ones that were selling anyway, and that's a trend that we've had, and it's going to continue. Of a lot of office equipment resellers are acquiring each other. It's just sort of like every industry right now. Just acquisitions are a hot ticket. But where we're at right now is we've got healthy companies. We don't seem to be losing any right now, at least, and we haven't been due to the virus. Most companies have kept their heads above water. Everybody's hiring,
but
right?
Isn't that coming though? I mean, do you see it coming with the acquisitions, with losing dealers? Because a lot of guys got by okay with the PPP loans, right? That saved everybody, but you've got the inventory challenges. You've got.
I think this is going to be a tough year. If that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, you got the recruiting challenges for people there, but it's going to be fun, isn't it? It's going to be interesting to see. You got
I don't
big
know
guys
if you're going to be
there.
saying fun by the end of the year, but I think it for everybody in this business, the next 12 months we look back may not be as profitable as the last 12 months. I mean, the first 12 months of this, let's face it, half of you guys, had your doors not completely shut, but a little shut. People were furloughed, people were laid off, your payroll shrank, your expenses shrank. You didn't have people, your techs weren't going out nearly as much because your customer base. So everybody made more money. Well, not more money. You were more profitable. You made less money, but you had some of these resellers had their most profitable years ever. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think
so.
This
When
is
you
going to be a
say
challenge.
this year, you're talking the remaining of 2021,
2021 and 22.
Got it.
It's hard to even think that we're.
So you're peering around the corner a little bit for 2022 right now.
2022. I think we're going to have a tough 2022. I think we're going to have these inventory problems are not going away. I think 6 months out at least. Everyone's kind of hoping that within 3 to 6 months we'll be fine. I think 6 months we'll be in the same position we're in now. People are still going to be waiting for their stuff to get unloaded. It's not even, they just don't have the capacity to get the stuff off the ships, right? I mean, that's the problem. So all these other ports are trying to increase capacity. I had an article, we cover a lot of this actually in our publication through other releases, other press releases. And we saw, I think Jacksonville is expanding and the Carolinas are expanding and everyone's expanding their capabilities. But, by the time that happens and by the time they get up to speed, we're going to be a year, 2 years in and your customers right now, if they're waiting for a piece of office equipment or a display or a TV or a gas range like we were waiting, or you almost think you need to replace everything in your house just in case because it's still working now. Like, if you buy it, at least if it comes in, then you can sell it to somebody else or something.
But Andy,
you have to be proactive.
Look at all the stuff that's coming into our houses now that have chips in it.
Yeah, well, everything, right?
Right. So now that plays a different angle.
Yep. Well, everything has a chip. These awesome University of Maryland Terrapin sneakers that I'm wearing right now for the Terps Ohio State game tomorrow. Go Terps! These stupid sneakers of mine have a chip in them. There's an app that I can get, and it downloads and go Under Armour. Kevin Plank started it from former Maryland Terrapin, and dated my friend Ellen. Hello, Ellen. And but everything, like you said, everything has a chip in it, right? So and that's a problem because we didn't even talk about the fact that you can't get chips, but that's kind of what started, I think, a big part of the collapse of our of the shipping right now, and just you can't get products, you can't get, and so it's not just the labor of getting the stuff off, it's the fact that the stuff I'm trying to buy sometimes and you're trying to buy, it's made in the U.S., but they can't get the parts from outside the U.S. to assemble it, and it's just and it's happening all over the world. It's not just us, right? But it's very frustrating, and as business owners, you guys are trying to stay ahead of that curve, right? So you've got multiple brands that you carry. You have multiple options for customers. You've got some things you do to get creative when you've got a situation. Maybe you work with another partner dealer of yours, or another sharp dealer or somebody. If it's a community here where you're all here to help each other. But at the end of the day, you guys have had a challenging year. You're going to have a challenging year going forward, I think, for different reasons. And but you guys have always weathered this storm. This channel, this BTA channel, Business Technology Channel, has been here. They're celebrating their 95th year, right? And you guys all started as typewriter companies, and you started as you mentioned earlier, and you started as business technologies that we probably would be shocked that they even sold back in 95 years ago. I couldn't even name some of the things that were probably on their shelves. But so that's kind of where we're at now. We're sort of facing forward, not knowing what's going on. We're hoping that the virus kind of winds down a little bit and we get ahead of that a little bit. But the big issue is right now is the inventory and getting those chips going again.
But that's going to put everybody at an even spot, right?
Yep.
Manufacturer, big dealer, small dealer. So this is where when I say it's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting to see who has the people, who has the leadership, who has the vision, and who can pivot, right? Who can get to those other things.
I think it's more challenging for manufacturers. I think someone like you guys, a medium-sized, larger dealers, medium-sized dealers, stable dealers, you guys are in a good position because you have a lot of flexibility. You have options. You have the ability to partner on the fly. The manufacturers, especially those with big branch systems, they're beholden to them. And it's not like they can just turn around and say, okay, I'll get them another brand. Not that you would want to, but if you had to get something for a customer that really needed something, you have the ability to be much more flexible, right, than a manufacturer who really has to do what that manufacturer has in their portfolio. You can go get whatever you want. They can't.
Yeah.
It's an advantage for you.
It's a good time to be a PE company, right? You're sitting over there just waiting to see what you're going to gobble up. So, hey, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
we appreciate
Thanks for having me.
you. And,
Appreciate the insight.
Hopefully, that ruckus last night didn't cause you too much
harm. It happens every time I go out. Every time.
Go imagine. But we always sign off, and we like to do it this way. What's in your glass there?
Very little, but I got a little sip left.
So we're bourbon fans here, but what's your flavor, Andy? What do you like?
I like Whistle Pig. I have a Whistle Pig 1800 behind my desk for my lovely wife, and maybe Pappy. I don't know if anyone's looking for birthday gifts for me. Pappy Van Winkle's always nice. Never turn that down. So I like a bourbon.
But as Bill Batro would say, it's who's ever paying for Andy. That's what he likes.
That's my favorite kind. That's my favorite bourbon. Is whatever you're buying me. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Got mail.